before we do this song, just a couple of things I want to say real quick. Number one is that tonight there's an opportunity for you to save a life, and it's the life of a child. And I'm working really, really hard to not make this sound like some kind of spiel or some kind of the part of the show where you beg for money. And so I don't really have a script or anything. But I can tell you that tonight at our table, there are pictures of children. Those are real children who don't have clean running water. Many of them don't get to have a meal every day. And 80% of those kids have been orphaned. They've been abandoned by their own parents. And you know, it's crazy. I was talking about this last night. We were in Pennsylvania, and I was sharing, and I was like, I remember when I would go to concerts and they'd start talking about feeding hungry children, and I would be moved to compassion, but I would never be moved to action. And then I felt like that St. Jude commercial kept like chasing after me everywhere I went. I would be like, man, they know where I'm at all times. When I turn the TV on, that commercial comes on. Whether I'm in the bus or I'm in the venue, watching TV in the venue, there's St. Jude. And I was like, oh. And I almost did it. And then I was saved by MacGyver or whatever came on right after that. Oh. And I was moved by that commercial. That's why it bothered me so much, because I was moved by it, but I wasn't doing anything about it. And then one day I was on this call with a promoter. It was a guy who wanted to bring us to Argentina, and he had a big radio show, and I was on the phone with him. And I was at the house by myself because my wife had taken my son Blaze. He was 8 years old. She had taken him to the doctor because he just wasn't himself. And I said, well, I'll do the interview, and then just let me know how he's doing. Call me from them. This should take, not too long. And she said, okay. She left. And I was getting ready to make the call to the interview, to do the radio interview. And so I had a few minutes. So I just gathered my thoughts and anyway, I get on the phone with this guy in Argentina, and it's a great conversation. And I'm about 15 minutes into the conversation with this guy. And my wife runs in. And she said, we gotta go now. I said, what? She said, we gotta go now. And I didn't even need to ask her anything. I just saw the look on her face. And I said, hey man, I gotta go. I'll have to explain it later. And I hung up. And she said something to the effect of, basically that he was getting worse fast. Talking about our son, Blaze. And we gotta go to the hospital. We don't even have time to wait on an ambulance. And I ran after my son. We have him in the car, and we start driving. I was driving as fast and safe as I could to get to Vanderbilt. They said that the doctors had said that they didn't even have a way to measure his blood sugar. It was that high. And that he needed to go immediately to Vanderbilt, which is about 28 minutes from our home in downtown Nashville. And I'm trying to get in there, and my son's not looking good. And Vanderbilt is waiting on us. As soon as I pull up, they pull him out, and they rush him in. They wouldn't let us go. And I'm terrified, man. I ain't scared of a lot of things. I'm not trying to be Mr. Tough Guy. I've been locked up in somebody's prison. I'm not scared of a lot of things. But my children being hurt terrifies me. My wife being hurt terrifies me. And I didn't know what to do. My wife's crying, I'm holding her, I'm saying, it's going to be okay, honey. And I didn't know if it was. And the doctors come in about an hour later. No one's telling us anything. And finally, they say, you can come see him now. And we walk in, there's my son laid up with needles in his arm, bags and stuff with fluid. And they say, you almost lost your son, but he's stable now. Your son has type 1 diabetes. I don't even know what that was. I know what type 2 is, but I don't know what that. My wife and I were like, what do we do? My wife's like, I did this to our son. I'm like, honey, we don't even know what it is, And the doctor's like, no, you didn't. You didn't do anything. He didn't eat the wrong thing, and then here he is. And so said that he's going to have to take shots of insulin for the rest of his life, every single day, several times a day. What does this have to do with St. Jude? I'm going to tell you. I was devastated. I was like, God. I was like, God, why can't I be the one to have this? Why? I've done so much stuff. Horrible things. He's done nothing. He's an innocent kid. God, give it to me. I was like pleading with God. God, take it away from him and give it to me. I will gladly take it for him. That's not the way it works, And I got a call from Bart. He's the lead singer of a band called Mercy Me. And he called me, and I've never talked to him on the phone. We've seen each other in person. He knows who I am. I know who he is. We shake hands before an event. But he got my number, and he called me, and he just wanted me to know that he was praying for me and that he understands, because he's been in the same position. And he told me a few things that really just, it really warmed my heart, and I'm just glad that somebody cared, and that understood the pain. But my son ended up being all right, and years later, I think maybe when he was 13, we almost lost him again. His kidneys failed, and the doctors weren't sure he'd make it through the night. I rode the ambulance with him. My son was lifeless in the back of the ambulance. But I can tell you, every time that St. Jude commercial came on after that, it hit different. And this is the weird thing about it. It used to always be the kids that moved me. Like every time I'd see these kids, I'd be like, dang, my heart hurts for them, but I would never do anything. But this time when I was looking at it, yes, I was moved by the children. But it was the parents. Man, that hit me. Because I remember feeling so desperate. I remember feeling so helpless. And so when I seen that commercial after that, I'm seeing the parents and I'm like, I gotta do this. And I went ahead and I signed up and I got my awesome blanket, and I'm proud to be a part of that, small part of it. But I gotta say that every 10 seconds a child dies of starvation. Every 10 seconds. And there are pictures of children on that table that might not live much longer. I'm not saying that to make you feel some type of way or any of that stuff. I don't know, maybe I am. I don't know. I feel kind of desperate for them because I know I don't have the right words to say to you that would make every single person get up and walk over there and sponsor a child. I don't have that in me, and I'm going to tell you why, and this is going to make me sound like a horrible person. It's because I don't love them the way I love my kids. I know. I love them. I feel desperation for them. And so I'm doing what I can. But if it was my child, there wouldn't be a dry eye in this place. If it was my child, I beg you on my knees to please help. But I don't love them the way I love my children. I wish I did, man. I love them and I care. And I'm trying to do my part, man, the best I can. For 20-something years, I've been working with organizations to feed hungry children all across the world. And I have a love for these kids. And so I'm not saying I don't. I'm just saying I don't have the right words. And I think part of that is because they're not my kids. So listen, tonight, I feel like I'm doing these kids a disservice because I can't seem to get it together. Maybe if I had a script and a good script writer, I could do something that would make every person get up. But I just rather speak from the heart to you. And so look, tonight, instead of buying something from us, this is something I can do. And believe me, I would love to sell you something. We got an 800-mile drive back to Nashville with a bus that's needing several $1,000s in repairs. So I'm only saying that to you because I'd love to sell you a t-shirt. But more than I need to sell a t-shirt or some merchandise, these kids need a sponsor. They need a hero. And so instead of buying something from us, I'll just give you whatever you want. I'm challenging you for 2 months to find one of those kids and commit for 2 months. See what God will do. One of our kids just graduated the program and it's doing awesome. So we just picked up 2 more sponsors, 2 more sponsorships because we had a kid. So we've been doing it for years, but I'm challenging you for 2 months. We serve a God. You take care of his, he'll take care of yours. But use that money to find a child to sponsor 2 months. And literally you can have one of everything off of our table. Pick a t-shirt, pick whatever's on our table. I don't even know what merchandise we have. And I'll go back there and I'll sign it for you. I wrote a book a couple of years ago that became a bestseller on Amazon. And it's not because I'm a great writer, but because it deals with depression and anxiety and overcoming addiction and forgiving my father who I hated. There's a lot of that in there. It's all scripturally based. I'll give it to you. I'll sign it for you. You can have whatever you want off that table. For real. And it costs me, but I want it to. I'm not trying to punish myself because I don't love these kids the way I love mine. I'm saying I want to do something that matters, that I feel. And right now with a bus that needs several thousand in repairs, I will feel this. And so anyway, I just appreciate you guys letting me share my heart with you. And we got one more song, but I know that tonight there are some of you here as well that have felt like life is too much. And I just want you to know that we understand, especially as we're getting close to the holidays. Some of you have lost a loved one, somebody close to you, and maybe this is your first year or multiple years without that person or those people. And we're sorry that you're hurting. And you matter to us, for real. You matter to us. And I don't know, maybe you're struggling with addiction tonight or some other thing in your life. I made the decision to take my life when I was in my 20s. My mom became a Christian and she would pray for me. But I never felt like God would want somebody like me. A convict, drug addict. My mom would always tell me that when God looks at me, he doesn't see a drug addict, a worthless drug addict, that he sees the apple of his eye. And she would come to visit me when I was locked up in various jails and places. But I finally made the decision to take my life. And my mother walked in and she was the one that had to find me as I overdosed in front of her on Readington floor. And my mom called the paramedics. She was screaming and crying out to God. And in the back of an ambulance, I had an encounter with Jesus. In the back of an ambulance, I gave my heart to the Lord. And so, I know you heard parts of my testimony earlier, but I just wanted to share that last part of how I came to know the Lord. It was in the back of an ambulance. And I woke up in the intensive care unit. And that began my journey. I got to be honest, I ended up back in jail for about a year after I became a Christian. Just, relapsed and messed up again, but God ruined getting high for me. It never felt the same after that. And I'm thankful that he ruined it for me. And today I'm married to this amazing woman. You'll meet her. She's back there at the table. She's a beautiful lady with curly hair. It looks like she should not be married to me under any circumstances. Like, God, what did you do to her? But at the end of the day, I get to be married to her.